I love this comic book, The Walking Dead, Book 41. Dale is watching Tyrese and Andrea, jealous of their close friendship. Rick tries to convince Dale that Andrea loves him. Dale agrees and sarcastically says because he's so young and healthy. Rick says Dale can dwell on the same thing day in and day out, but he'll always be wrong. Rick tells everyone to stop shooting. Carl is playing by himself outside of Rick and Lori's cell. Lori tells Rick that Carl is becoming more and more independent, and she is happy about this. She also mentions that she and Carol are talking like they used to do. Rick says that it's best to just forget all of the weirdness with her, considering how the world currently is. Rick asks how Judith is doing, and Lori responds that she is just perfect. She thinks Judy reminds her of Carl. At the cafeteria, Andrea, Dale, Ben, and Billy are eating Herschel's tomatoes. Dale is about to say something about the stew, but stops, and Andrea tells the boys to ignore everything that Dale says. Dale finishes his thought by saying the stew is good. Andrea thinks it's a good save, calling him an old man. Dale stops talking and says he's fine when Andrea asks him if something is wrong. Glenn and Maggie are in their cell, talking after they just had sex. Maggie brings up that they should have children. Glenn disagrees, saying that the world is too dangerous to be thinking about having a baby right now. Maggie protests, saying that the prison might be their only chance, and she doesn't want to deny herself if they are safe in the prison. Alice meets Andrea. Andrea thinks that her new jumpsuit shorts are cool. Alice agrees and asks Andrea to do her a favor when the group goes out of the prison to kill some walkers. Outside, Andrea, Maggie, Glenn, Herschel, Axel, and Billy are about to shoot some walkers. Andrea gives them security instructions, and Maggie thinks she's being too dramatic. Andrea says if she's not taking this seriously, she can leave. Maggie apologizes, and Herschel shoots a walker that was getting too close. He tells Andrea that his kids are smart and know what's at stake, and that she shouldn't be worrying so much about them that she forgets to take her own advice. Andrea also apologizes. Maggie swears. Herschel is disconcerted about it and tells her it's against God. Maggie asks him how he can still believe in God, and Herschel says his faith has never been stronger. Maggie is about to shoot a walker, but Andrea says not to kill that one. Rick hears from Glenn what they're about to do and is going to end it right now. Glenn tries in vain to stop him. On the way out, Alice asks if he has time to talk, but he keeps on going, saying that she doesn't know what she's doing. Outside, Alice tries to stop Rick. The walker almost gets Alice, and Rick asks if she now knows why it has to be put down. Alice pleads that they could learn something about it, even possibly developing a cure. Rick leaves the zombie, but tells them to keep a safe distance from it and to chain it up in a more secure place. Carol is talking to Lori about her being abused by her dead husband. Lori informs her that she doesn't have to throw herself on the next man to come her way, and that she just needs to be strong. Suddenly, Carol asks Lori if she would take care of Sophia if she were to die. Lori tells her not to think like that, but says that she would raise her like her own. Carol thanks her and says she's going to go find a man to throw herself on. Lori thinks she's joking. Glenn stops Dale in one of the hallways. Glenn tells Dale that he found his hat. Dale is thankful and asks Glenn if he could put it on Dale's head. Carol shows up to Billy's cell. She asks him his age. He answers 18, soon to be 19, and she starts to paw him. They kiss and have sex. Outside, Dale is again jealously watching Tyrese and Andrea. Herschel is tending to his garden, but suddenly sees Carol walking over to the test zombie. She tells the zombie that she won't like it with these people. She tells it that they're too judgmental. Carol explains how she doesn't have any friends anymore and calls the zombie her friend. Lastly, Carol steps forward and lets it bite her neck. I feel bad for Dale. He is older and he loves Andrea. He's very jealous of Tyrese. I don't think he realizes that Tyrese still has feelings for Carol. Even if he didn't, Michonne seems to have marked him as her territory almost. After what Michonne did with him, I'm not sure other members of the group would be willing to couple up with him. For Dale, the fact that he is older is affecting him. I agree with Rick that he does not need to worry. Andrea is dedicated to him. Her reaction when he was bitten should tell him all he needs to know. But he is still unsure of himself, his value, his bond with Andrea. The bite and losing his leg has really affected his self-confidence. Glenn and Maggie have a talk about kids. Glenn is worried that it's far too dangerous to have any. Maggie doesn't want to not have kids and deny herself having a baby. That extra crib she got isn't because she might be pregnant. It's because she wants to have a baby. Glenn is going to struggle with this one. I don't think Maggie is going to let up on the topic. The extra zombie shooting practice has a little side project that Alice has requested. She wants a zombie or two to study. Not dead, so to speak, but still living zombie. Rick is furious, and rightly so. If it gets loose, if someone gets too close, it could have deadly consequences. Alice wants to study it, see if she can understand anything about it. Figure out a way to not become a zombie when you die, if possible. She's looking at it from a scientific standpoint. When we circle back to Carol, this character is a bit helpless. She can't be without a man is what it seems like. She loves her daughter, but being alone without a man she cannot handle. Maybe it's a personality deficiency? Her conversation with Laurie doesn't seem to improve her mental state. She's a bit trapped in her head about what she has done before. She can't move past it. She's projecting that onto the others. I think the rest have moved on from her attempted suicide. They think she is relatively okay again. But based on what she does next, she is clearly not in a good headspace. She's mentally just not good, not normal. She decides to befriend this zombie that is now being kept by Alice for scientific research. It's not really befriend at this point. In the panels, it looks like she just walks closer after talking to her and just lets her bite her neck. Suicide by zombie. That's beyond sad. She states her reasons to the zombie. The group is judgmental. No one cares. No one is really her friend. Her pit stop with Billy was just her last celebratory hurrah, it would seem. Rick and Laurie will now be raising Sophia as well as Carl and Judith. All we see at this time is the bite. I have no idea if Alice can do anything to save her. I feel really bad for Sophia. This is going to damage her even more. Maybe she already on some level realized that her mom loves her, but her mom can't function as a single person. I hope Sophia doesn't do anything to harm herself now. Her mom's craziness does not have to be her craziness. Thanks for tuning in to the I Love This Comic Book podcast. If you would like to make a donation in support of this podcast, you can through Cash App to Pasta26MC. That's pasta like the food, the number 2, the number 6, M as in monkey, C as in cat. If you would like to sponsor this podcast or advertise on it, please send an email to podcast@pastasworld.com. As always, you can go to pastasworld.com for more information.